we need to talk about this modes situation in Fortnite because it is getting just a little bit ridiculous. As you guys know, there are a massive amount of different modes that we have in Fortnite nowadays, not even including all of the ones made by Epic Games themselves. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different games made every single day by players like you and me, and the UI has gotten very, very cluttered with all of these different game modes, even with collab game modes such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Lego as well. Now, as you guys know, there's kind of the main Epic Games modes. You know, you have regular Battle Royale, which is updates every 2 or 3 months with new seasons. You have Fortnite OG, which is going into a new season of, you know, Legacy Fortnite every other month. And then you have Reload, which has shifting maps and also has a pretty ever-changing loot pool as well with completely different mechanics. And obviously, along with that comes their respective ranked modes. I'd say these are the top 3 in Fortnite, as they're probably the most played in terms of player count when you combine it all together. But if you guys were to go specifically, and this is what I'm focusing on, is just the Epic Games modes themselves. If you guys were to go down into all of these modes, this sea of modes, and you were somehow able to find the games that were only made by Epic, you would see a lot of different games. There's at least 20 games there, I believe, and there are a few of them that seem to just be taking up space with not very many players. Some of these include the Festival Battle Stage with 833 players, the Festival Jam Stage with 661, OG Ranked Zero Build, which is probably one of the most niche ones we have here, 1.3k players, and even just OG Ranked in general only has 5.1k players, which is very surprising to me. And then, of course, one of the newer game modes that we have is the Getaway Zero Build, as well as Getaway Ranked. The Getaway Zero Build only has 706 players, and of course, Party Royale, one of the OG variety modes, has 2.8k players. Now, I think it's really interesting when you're looking at this screenshot here, which was only taken a few minutes ago at the time that I'm recording this. I think it's really crazy that the modes that people say are kind of like dead or abandoned, things that I have said about Fortnite and about these modes in terms of Save the World, Rocket Racing, you know, Brick Life, stuff that kind of seems abandoned and really doesn't have much effort put into it, have substantially more players than some of these modes that Fortnite seems to be putting a lot of effort into. When you look at this, you see Save the World has a good amount of players. Rocket Racing still has a respectable, you know, 2,000 players. Team Rumble has a good amount as well. And even Brick Life at this time of the screenshot, I believe, had 11,000 players, which is very surprising to me. So these game modes that Fortnite, it really doesn't promote very much and hasn't really talked about since they released, especially things like Team Rumble and Save the World, Rocket Racing literally had seasons canceled for it, has more players than these other game modes. So why exactly does Fortnite continuously allow for these game modes to take up space? That's a really good question. And talking about that a little bit more, they are taking up a lot of server space, and it makes the game feel more cluttered in general. You know, especially when there's a ranked and, you know, a zero build version of everything in the game. We even have a ranked version of an LTM, which I personally think is absolutely insane. I really do not think that is necessary. It seems it gets really, really cluttered, and it gets difficult to navigate the UI in general with it already being really kind of clunky and not optimized. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Fortnite adding a ranked mode for Getaway and how it felt and how it feels really, really unnecessary. Now, I understand there was a lot of talk about, you know, this Getaway LTM and people being really excited about it and everything like that, but I think that Fortnite gets a little bit, you know, scared. I think that Fortnite gets scared of people being too bored playing the game. They don't want anything to be, you know, too casual, because I think that they feel like the majority of their player base, and I want to hear your guys' opinion on this. I feel that Fortnite thinks the majority of their player base wants to play competitively, and I really do not think that is the case. Of course, games like Reload are going to have more players in ranked than they do in casual, because Reload really isn't a casual game mode like at its source. Like, it's very high octane, it's like hectic, it's chaos the entire game. Like, you're on edge, you're on the edge of your seat the entire game. So that makes sense. And I feel like Fortnite adding something like a ranked mode for an LTM that's supposed to be casual and fun and different says a lot about how Fortnite views, you know, their game and their player base. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that in the comments. Now, I want to emphasize to you guys that I understand that Fortnite completely deleting these modes may not be the way to go, because, you know, there is an audience for all of them, no matter how small. Some of you watching this may have played, you know, OG Ranked Zero Build all the time, or you love the Festival Battle Stage and things like that. But I do think that Fortnite could mix some together, like with the Festival modes. I could see them easily mixing, you know, Battle Stage and Jam Stage into, you know, Festival, and just calling Festival, just call it Fortnite Festival, not Main Stage. No, none of the stage BS. They could just call it Festival and mix all of this stuff together. And honestly, I feel like that would drive a lot more players to these different modes rather than having them separate. Additionally, I feel like especially the ranked modes that people just aren't playing really do not need to exist, because the whole point of playing ranked is to eventually play in tournaments. I feel like unless you just want, you know, a competitive environment, there really isn't a lot of people going after, you know, OG zero build cups, to be honest. There was even one going on in this screenshot and there were not many people playing it. And I feel like that's something that should be a little bit more, you know, exciting than it actually is. Another thing too is that Fortnite sometimes has to make us wait for different party sizes for different modes, and how I feel like that's kind of due in part to all of these extra modes that really aren't worth the space. I believe just a few hours ago, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had to like disable the squads version of like the getaway zero build or something because of issues with the servers. And it's like, yeah, probably because you added, you know, zero build with this, builds with this, and you also added a ranked mode with it. So I just feel like a lot of that is unnecessary. It's unnecessary pressure on the servers that just makes the game feel more clunky. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way as me, but that's just how I see it, to be honest. I think what's really interesting though, and this is what I want to leave you guys with for this video, is how the getaway has a lot less players than I expected. And I know that when we had LTMs back in the day, a lot of people like see them as really popular, like they were super duper popular. We weren't actually able to see the player counts back in the day. So I wonder if these LTMs were really as popular as everybody says, or maybe LTMs just aren't as, you know, exciting anymore because of the amount of variety of games that we have within Fortnite. These simple, just like mechanical changes in Fortnite may just not be as interesting to people anymore. And I think that kind of goes to show why Fortnite hasn't been, you know, adding more LTMs into the game consistently, because, you know, there's other better modes to play that are more interesting and more unique. That's just my opinion on that. I think it's very interesting that the getaway really doesn't have a ton of players right now. Definitely in comparison, obviously, to other games, that's a lot of players, but based on, you know, Fortnite standards, I really don't think that is what they expected. And it's certainly not what I expected from an LTM, especially with how people talk about them and how much they want them and things like that. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you guys think that Fortnite needs to kind of like compress down the amount of modes that they have in Fortnite? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Drop a like on today's video. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like, subscribe to the channel, use code PROZEROYT to help support me, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.